I noticed it, I think, on the first drive when Jalen Hurts ran to the right down near in the red zone. It was around the 15, 10-yard line. And and it's like something's missing with his burst.
Yeah.
And then later in the half,
Right.
he ran again, and it was almost like he was limping. Well, second half, knee brace on the left knee. Something clearly not right there. He said after the game, I'll be fine. He was asked if it'll affect him. He said, I hope not. And I wonder.
I didn't see a play that did it, right?
I just wondered, like.
Is it wear and tear? Because he's not looked as fast the whole year. You've heard me say that, right? Where I feel like there's just a little, of course he's still fast. I don't mean it by that, but it looks like there's a gear missing compared to last year. And I wonder if he's kind of been dealing with something all along here and it just tweaked a little last night.
He was not on the injury report for anything, and they had a bunch of guys on the injury report. And I just wonder, and I'm going to throw a curveball. It's going to seem like it doesn't fit, but it will. Last week there were 2 pregame fights.
Yeah.
And nobody was ejected. Nobody was fined. I think what happened was the NFL, which in the past has had hair on fire over pregame fights and sent out memos and ejected players and thou shalt not, and keep them separated, everybody on their own side of the field, I think the NFL got a little lax, got a little loose, and I think the league decided, we're not going to fine anybody for what happened last week. We're just going to send out a memo reminding everyone of the rules. We predicted that last week, and it happened. We got the memo yesterday, and we posted about it. But they didn't punish anyone because I think it was their fault in part for getting a little loose with the protocols. I feel like maybe the league's getting a little loose with making sure that everyone is disclosing what they're supposed to disclose. It's going to come up later in the show in the context of Bijan Robinson. But I just can't help but wonder whether Jalen Hurts carried something into the game that the Eagles had hidden. And I'm not throwing stones here, but there's a strategic advantage in keeping secret the health of your players. And so either he got injured during the game or he carried an injury into the game and they never said anything about it. During the game, they didn't say anything about it. Now, he didn't miss any snaps, but the fact that they put a brace on his knee tells you something isn't 100% with Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And in this age of legalized gambling, daily fantasy, prop bets, etc., the NFL had better be vigilant about any team that is playing games. And when you look at all the names that were on the injury report this week, sometimes teams like to flood the zone with all these names. Hey, but then the most important guy, it's being kept secret.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying the Eagles are doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Rubbing is racing, but it's for the NFL to make sure, especially in this climate where everyone is entitled to transparency about who's healthy and who's not. When you're watching Jalen Hurts, if you've got Jalen Hurts on your fantasy team, if you've got a Jalen Hurts prop bet for over-under rushing yards, whatever it is, and you see him limping and you didn't know he was hurt, what the hell? I put my good hard-earned money on this in a jurisdiction where it's legal. Something's wrong with this. So, NFL, get it together before the scandal that creates a problem for everyone. And I'm not just saying that to be an ass. I don't want to have to cover it. I don't want to have to deal with it. I want the NFL to be properly buttoned up. And I want the people to be fairly treated who are having because something wasn't right with Jalen Hurts last night, and the Eagles haven't said boo about it.
No, I hear that. I mean, I think if the NFL was to do right by their fans and everybody there, that needs to be done. You're right. So I don't know. I know you're not accusing. It's just, hey, it's part of this climate.
I am accusing, but I'm not finding fault. I understand why they would do it.
I get it.
It's for the league to say, to police them and say, you can't do it. You have. There's a natural incentive to keep it secret. It's for the league to remove that incentive by creating a disincentive that is stronger than the incentive. I mean, think about it that way. What's the incentive? Well, the Eagles can hide the fact from the Dolphins that maybe Jalen Hurts won't have his full arsenal of abilities, and you don't put a target on whatever body part it is. And we know, even though they don't talk about it, we know, we're going to test that knee, we're going to test that shoulder, we're going to test that ankle. It helps the Eagles strategically. It creates an incentive to keep it secret. You need to create a disincentive that is stronger than the incentive to keep it secret. That's the only way. to keep it from happening.
I hear that. I hear that.
End of rant for now until we talk about Bijan Robinson.
No, I get you there, and hopefully Jalen Hurts is okay. It's nothing that'll make him miss time. I don't want to see that. I want to see the Eagles at their best. I want to see all these teams that are kind of in the upper echelons of football at their best as we come down into the second part of the season here.
Commented on Jalen Hurts' toughness. I want to hear what he has to say because I want to see if anything oozes through that would suggest he knows or knew going in there was an issue with Jalen Hurts' knee. Here's Nick Sirianni praising Jalen Hurts for his toughness last night.
Played the rest of the game, and he played at a very high level. You have to ask Jalen. I thought he played really, really outstanding. Man, he's a competitor. Man, there's nobody else I'd rather be our quarterback, and he played his butt off tonight. He's tough. You know, y'all saw that he was going through a little something, and so he is tough. He is tough. He is tough. This game always comes down to physicality and toughness. It always does, no matter what, because it's and that's physical and mental toughness, and Jalen Hurts has both.
Inconclusive, but he did say at the beginning he finished the game. Like it implied it happened during the game, even though we didn't see it. And I need to go back and watch every instance of contact with Jalen Hurts.
I just wonder if it happened on the tush-push, one of those kind of plays.
We wouldn't see that if it happens. And, that's the other thing,
too. Look at these guys.
When they unscramble the pile now, I wonder what's going on at the bottom of it. Because that's, again, not a popular thing to say in this health and safety-obsessed NFL. But you know what it was like when your dad played. It may have been that way when you played. When you got to the bottom of the pile and the cameras couldn't see through the bodies, it was poke, it was grab, it was twist, it was do whatever you had to do.
I hear what you're saying there. I will say this. I think,
it was just crazy. No. And it's not funny. No. And it's good that it's not like that anymore. But there was one of those moments last night where they're taking the guys off the pile, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on down there.
Well, I will say, there's always for the most part, that's a college and high school thing where guys, grab your privates while you're underneath there or try to poke somebody in the eye or do that, right? And the NFL, it's like, hey, we're all pros here. The game's hard enough, and we're killing each other here hard enough. We don't need to be cheap shotting each other under the pile.
And then we see, Mac Jones, got Sauce Gardner a few weeks ago.
He's had his moments. But that is where you'll get, if you're that guy too much, you'll get viewed in your own locker room as people like, he's kind of a dirtbag. Like, really, you really will. So that's where the NFL does police itself in the right way.
In today's NFL, I'm going to have to play against that guy one of these days. I don't
right.
like
I'm going to be on a new team next year in free agency. But, the Eagles, too, and if we could play back that clip we just played with Jalen Hurts, just, again, their quarterback's physical. They can throw a screen to their tight end in Dallas Goedert in a situation, and he can not only have the speed to break it open, but, it's 2nd and 9, we can split him out. And, good athlete, can break tackles, boom, in the end zone. Of course, we got the tush push or the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it. And then they got the most physical receiver in the game right now in A.J. Brown, who is without question, you might want it. Tyreek Hill might be number 1. Justin Jefferson might be number 2, but A.J. Brown is definitely one of the 3 best receivers in football. He's a good route runner. He can beat you deep with a 60-yard bomb. He can catch short to intermediate passes, and the first guy almost never brings him down. He is one of the best weapons in all of football. And then you couple it with this stuff right here. This is an insane play. Jalen Hurts, really, the scrambling, the ability to keep the eyes down the field, the tackles he breaks with people around him in the pocket where I go, most quarterbacks are sacked right there, and here's Jalen Hurts running for 10 or getting a completion for 10 yards. That's where they kill you, let alone, like you said, it's 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 2 when they do the tush push and you can't stop them there. They have just so many elements about them.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.